On June 19, 2025, former hype man Terrence Dixon filed a federal lawsuit against Fat Joe Joseph Cartagena in the Southern District of New York, seeking $20 million in damages. The complaint alleges coercive labor exploitation and sexual manipulation, including forced participation in over 4,000 sex acts over a 16-year span. Sexual misconduct involving minors, alleging Fat Joe paid for sexual acts with girls aged 15 and 16, and even funded cosmetic surgery. Dixon claims he personally witnessed these events. Denial of songwriting credits, royalties, and fair compensation despite contributing to hit songs like Congratulations and Ice Cream. Psychological intimidation including abandonment abroad, threats of career sabotage, and wage fraud. Fat Joe has strenuously denied all allegations, calling the lawsuit a retaliatory and fraudulent extortion attempt. He also previously filed a defamation suit in April 2025 against Dixon and his attorney Tyrone Blackburn. Fat Joe's lawyer argues law enforcement has been notified and that Dixon's claim lacks merit. In amended court filings reported in July 2025, Fat Joe alleges that Dixon and Blackburn's lawsuit triggered a sharp financial fallout. Loss of 3 major podcast sponsors, reportedly cutting Joe and Jada's ad revenue by over 30%, including a $675,000 deal. Cancellation of 3 primetime TV appearances related to the podcast, halting key promotional opportunities. Termination of talks with national retailers over his Rewind It grooming brand. One collapsed deal alone was valued at around $7 million. Overall, an estimated $10 million in lost revenue across podcast sponsorships, endorsement deals, and retail negotiations. Fat Joe's amended lawsuit now seeks at least $15 million in damages from Dixon and Blackburn, plus interest, citing the smear campaign's impact on his reputation and business.
Rapper Fat Joe has been hit with an explosive $20 million lawsuit for allegedly coercing his ex-hype man into thousands of sexual acts. In a graphic 157-page lawsuit, Terrence T.A. Dixon accuses Fat Joe, whose legal name is Joseph Cartagena, of more than a decade of abuse. The details so disturbing that there's a big trigger warning in the red on the first page of that filing. Dixon alleges that in the lawsuit, Cartagena forced him to, quote, humiliating situations, including sex acts, performed under duress and surveillance. Dixon claims he personally witnessed Cartagena engage in sexual relations with girls as young as 15, one of whom Cartagena was allegedly in love with and contemplated leaving his wife for. An attorney for Cartagena says the lawsuit is a blatant act of retaliation. NBC's David Romo is on the story for us. And Stephen, Cartagena initially sued Dixon, and now Dixon is suing Cartagena. Both sides are trading allegations here.
Yeah, a lot of allegations here, but the lawsuit filed today has a lot more graphic content, if you will, Tom. Cartagena actually sued Dixon back in April on allegations that, as a former employee, he was trying to extort him for money. Well, Dixon's suit that was filed today is a lot more than just a typical employment dispute. The complaint does accuse Cartagena of underpaying him, but it goes on with many more allegations, claiming Cartagena would bring women to hotel rooms and make Dixon have sex with them in front of him and others. It also alleges that Cartagena would fly underage girls into the U.S. from Europe and that he paid for plastic surgery for one of them, and claimed that the minors were frequently cut off financially and discarded when they became non-compliant. Now, Cartagena's attorney claiming that those claims in this lawsuit are complete fabrications and lies, and saying, quote, the lawsuit filed by Tyrone Blackburn and Terrence Dixon is a blatant act of retaliation, a desperate attempt to deflect attention from the civil suit we filed first. Of course, referencing that lawsuit originally filed back in April, Tom.